Dear students, myself P.P. Sutta, Associate Professor, Department of Chemistry, Gopal Krishna Gokhale College, Kolhapur. Students, in the previous lecture, we have studied some points from the spectroscopy topic. Today, we are proceeding further. Students, this is the last lecture to study the topic Introduction to Spectroscopy. We will study the remaining points from the topics. The first point we are going to study is the interaction of radiation with the matter. When matter is exposed to the electromagnetic radiation, it interacts in many ways. It can be absorbed, transmitted, reflected, or scattered. This interaction is a quantum phenomenon, and it varies qualitatively depending upon the nature of the matter and the wavelength of radiation. Now, any radiation, when absorbed by the matter, excites the atoms or molecules in the matter from the lower energy level, that is E1, also called as ground state level, to the higher energy level, that is E2, also called the excitation level. And this process is called as excitation or transition, and the energy required for this process is called as excitation energy or transition energy, denoted by delta E. This transition energy is characteristic of atomic or molecular architecture of absorbing species. Now, this delta E is equal to the difference between these two energy levels, that is delta E equal to E2 minus E1. Delta E is transition energy and the difference is equal to the energy of photon. Now students, when there is a excitation from one energy level to another energy level by the energy required must be the equal to the difference in that energy levels, and therefore the transition energy is equal to the energy of photon absorbed, that is a delta E equal to energy of photon h nu. The nu is also related with the velocity and wavelength, and therefore the relation becomes delta E equal to h c upon lambda. Now the product of h and c is a constant, and therefore the relation becomes delta E equal to constant divided by lambda, and therefore finally the delta E is inversely proportional to the wavelength lambda. That is, when smaller the delta E value, larger the wavelength, or smaller the frequency of radiation absorbed, and when higher the delta E value, shorter the wavelength, or higher the frequency of radiation absorbed. Now in the diagram, the two energy levels are shown. The excitation from lower energy level, that is E1, to the higher energy level, which is denoted by delta E, which is equal to the difference in these two energy levels, that is E2 minus E1, which is equal to the energy of photon h nu, which is equal to the hc by lambda. That is, when value of delta E is more, the value of lambda, that is the wavelength, is less. Okay. Now we are proceeding for next point. In the organic chemistry, let us have the knowledge of radiations causing the excitation in the organic spectroscopy. Now, the first excitation is rotational excitation. This excitation occurs when microwaves are used. These microwaves carry out the rotation of the molecule. The second variety is vibrational excitation. When infrared radiations are used, the molecule undergo vibrational excitation. Since the energy of infrared radiation is more than the microwaves, the radiation causes rotational excitation also. Next excitation is electronic excitation, that is excitation of electron. UV and visible radiations causes electronic excitation, and this excitation takes place from the bonding molecular orbital to antibonding molecular orbitals. As these radiations having more energy than microwaves and IR radiations, here both rotational and vibrational excitation takes place. Now the last excitation is nuclear excitation. The radio waves radiations excite the magnetic nuclei which is exposed to the applied magnetic field, which is studied in the nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy, and this excitation to higher energy level. Thus, these radiations causes the different excitations. Next, we will discuss the types and advantages of spectroscopy. Okay, the different types of spectroscopies are shown here. It is a fluorescence spectroscopy, X-ray spectroscopy. The flame spectroscopy have the types atomic emission spectroscopy, AAS, that is atomic absorption spectroscopy, atomic fluorescence spectroscopy, plasma emission spectroscopy, spark or emission spectroscopy, UV visible spectroscopy, IR spectroscopy, Raman spectroscopy, NMR, photothermal, thermal infrared and mass spectroscopy. Out of these, for your study, only UV visible spectroscopy, IR spectroscopy, NMR spectroscopy and mass spectroscopy. Now why these spectroscoping methods are used? Let us see the advantages of spectroscopy methods. Students, in the chemical methods of analysis for the structure determinants, they use qualitative and quantitative analysis, that is the determination of elements like carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and quantitative, that is how much quantity, 2 hydrogens, 2 oxygens. Then the determination of functional group and determination of structure by these methods. But these methods are destructive, elaborated and very time consuming, and they require a large amount of samples. Now what happens when the research is done, the samples obtained are very small, and in such cases these methods are useless. The physical methods used are finding out the melting points, boiling points, measurements of dipole moments, refractive index, determination of molecular weight. The spectroscopic methods are advantageable as the amount of the sample required is very small. It is in milligram quantity. Then these methods are non-destructive, and in many cases the sample may be recovered to the extent of 100%, that is, there is no loss of the sample, while in the chemical methods the sample is lost, no recovery. The third advantage is these methods are extremely sensitive and very quick. And the fourth advantage is the information obtained is accurate, extensive, highly reliable, and the information is of permanent nature. However, the spectroscopic methods have disadvantages. These are: number one is the instrumentation. The instrument required in the analysis of the matter in this method are very costly. And the second disadvantage is to analyze the matter, the trained person is required to obtain the perfect results. This is the last point of the topic: types of energy and energy levels of atoms and molecules. There are 6 types of energy. They are chemical energy, electrical energy, radiant energy, mechanical energy, nuclear energy, and last one is thermal energy. All these 6 forms of energy are related and interconvertible. Our spectroscopy makes the use of radiant energy. Now the energy levels of atoms and molecules are shown in the diagram. Electrons in either atoms or molecules are distributed between several energy levels. Now these levels are called as atomic or molecular energy levels. Now electron, we know it is present in the lowest energy level, also called as a ground state level. Now when the excitation takes place, the electron from lower energy level, that is from the ground state, it is excited by the radiant energy to higher energy level, that is a excited state. The amount of energy absorbed is equivalent to the difference in the energy levels. That is, we have seen, that is, energy of photon is equal to E2 minus E1. Now these transitions of energy are in the order of: the first transition takes place is rotational, then vibrational, electronic, and then lastly ionization takes place. Thus these levels show the transition of electron from one energy level to another energy level. Now in the diagram we can see there are rotational levels, vibrational levels, and electronic levels in the ground state, and when the electron is excited, it reaches to the excited state level, and thus these transitions occur. With thus we completed this topic. I conclude my lecture. Students, go through all the topic, write down the notes. Thank you.